75. 75 is a magic number. 75 days left of school. So let's have some fun with 75, shall we? Let's go over here. And we know that we have 75 days left of school. Now let's make a fraction out of that because we want to practice turning fractions into percents. So we'll say 175 days left of school. Well, I'll just let you know that since our 100th day party, we have had 105 days. So if I said we have 75 days left of school, what percent of that is how much of the school year we've already had? Remember, right when you hear the word out of, you know you're dealing with a fraction or a part or a percent. So I have 75 days left of school. What percent is that out of how many days of school we've already had, which is 105. See how you do that? The total number that you're talking about in the word problem is the denominator, and the part is the numerator. And once you got that down, now you can make any fraction can be a decimal or a percent. And once again, this line right here has two symbols. It has the symbol of a division sign. Can you see the straight line over? And the dot represents each one of these numbers. It also, if you slant it this way and make the dots a little bit bigger, oh boy, it makes a percent. All fractions are percents. And all decimals can be converted into percent. That's what we've gone over this whole school year. So let's find out what percent of the school year we have left compared to how much we've already had. Well, I know if I'm writing this, I can do 75, read it from top to bottom, divided by 105. But those are such big numbers. My brain doesn't like to do that. And because I know both of these numbers, both the numerator and the denominator end in 5, I know it's divisible by 5. So why not simplify it? If we simplify it, it'll make our dividing a bit easier. Now I know 75 divided by 5, 75 divided by 5 is 15. So 75 divided by 5, 15. And I know 105 divided by 5. I know 5 goes into 10 2 times, and 5 goes into 5 1 time. I'm just going to do it simple. Oh, but look, I can still divide these numbers by something. They have a common factor. It might not be 5, but I know 5 times 3 is 15, and I know 3 times 7 is 21. So even though I might not list all of the factors, my brain, and this is the way I do it, your brain could do it a different way, I know I can still simplify and divide each one of these, the numerator and the denominator, by 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5, and 21 divided by 3 is 7. So now I have an equivalent fraction. These are known as equivalent fractions. They mean or have the same ratio or have the same value. 75 over 105 is the same value or an equivalent fraction to 5 cents. Now watch this. 5 divided by 7. Isn't that much more simple? Now, knowing our first 100 days of school, we find percents by finding out of 100. So what I have to do is I have to cut this dividend, this number 5, I have to cut it into 100 pieces. How do I do that? Well, I put my decimal point and I add my 2 zeros. These 2 zeros put 5 into the hundredths place value. I put my decimal point up here to ensure that my answers are all congruent with their place values. And now I simply divide. How many times does 7 go into 5? None. How many times does 7 go into 50? That would be 7 times. 7 times 7 is 49. 50 minus 49 is 1. The next number comes down. How many times does 7 go into 10? That would be 1 time. So my answer is 71 hundredths or 71%. Because hundredths means out of 100 and percents means out of 100. Now sometimes teachers say, oh, you should just move the decimal point over 2 spaces. But I don't want you to have to rely on some algorithm or some trick. I want you to know that 71 hundredths means 71 that's been broken up into 100 little pieces. It's not quite a whole. And 71% is per out of 100, is also out of 100. That 71 hundredths and 71% are written the same way. So that's how much of the school year we have left compared to how much we already had. Now, just to do something fun, I know we're kind of going long here, but just remember this number. I'll put it right here, 71%. Just to show you that 5/7 is congruent with 75 100/5, let's do it this way. The more difficult way, let's cut it up into 100 pieces. Oh, wait, no. Sorry, 75 divided by 105, cut it up into 100 pieces. Put up my decimal point to ensure that my place value is the same, and I'm going to just type this in, see what happens. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 1 is 7. 5 minus 3 is, wait, sorry. You can see sometimes teachers make mistakes. We just know we can correct them. Oh boy, look, see that works out. Goes to show you that you don't have to simplify this fraction in order to still do the multi or the division in order to find, but it just makes it so much simpler. Hence the word simplification of fractions. Okay, well, I hope you're enjoying this. Maybe even what you could do is just come up with, walk around your room and say, oh, how many toys do I have on my bookshelf? How many toys do I have compared to how many toys are on my bed, or how many toys are on the top shelf versus the bottom shelf? How many, you can come up with how many brothers you have compared to how many cats you have, or whatever fraction, and just practice finding percents by making a fraction, knowing that the denominator is what the whole has been cut up to. How many toys do I have? Here's the denominator. How many are on my top shelf? Here it is. Now you can find out what percent of toys you have on your top shelf. You have 2 brothers and you have 5 cats. Well, you can say what percent or to cats do I have? You make a fraction 2 out of 5, and you divide the bottom of the text. You can say, oh, I have this percent more cats than I do dog or brothers, not dogs. So anyway, have fun with it.